Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Thru.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Thru, and joining me, as always, are Philip Gilfus and Darren Moser. At least I think. It's not as bright in here as it usually is. I don't know if you guys have, for some reason, on purpose retreated into the darkness, but
when I pulled up the weather app today, it said heading into darkness. It was a little on the nose, but I just went with it.
Right. I see you all have redecorated. I don't like it.
Look, we're starting a little late. I think we just need to begin.
You know what it is? It's that stupid daylight savings.
That's what it is.
Oh, that's
there
it.
You go.
We don't say we're not timely here on City Alpha 3.
The whole planet is heading into darkness because of stupid daylight savings.
Right. You don't know which one I'm talking about, though. I could be talking about it at ending or beginning. So.
Who knows?
That's right.
But that's actually not what we're here to talk about.
Well, I thought we'd talk about the way the different planets rotate around the sun and how the length of days are different.
Nope, none of that.
There's one place where a night is 27 years.
That's interesting, but that's also not what we're talking about. We are, in fact, talking about Star Trek Into Darkness, and we're going to definitively decide if it's that bad.
So wait, I thought we were starting about Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. It's the second Star Trek movie, right? That's what we're...
It is, and Khan is in it.
And pretty wrathful.
Right.
So there's a lot of similarities. I could see where you would get confused.
Carol Marcus is in it.
Although I will say this is actually perfect for this series. This Isn't That Bad because, it actually has been a long time since I've watched Star Trek Into Darkness. I only own it because I think I got some sort of I got a triple pack of all of them. So it's okay, well now I own them all. But
You mean a tribble pack?
Tribble pack. But
what do you do with that tribble there, Darren?
Yeah, no, it came with the swag bag I got from when we went and saw Beyond.
Humble brag.
But with the t-shirts. But but no, but I think it is a great candidate because as a Star Trek fan, seeing it, I definitely know my initial reaction when I first saw it in theaters was highly colored from just what was being talked about and just being a Star Trek fan. So I was willing to give it another chance. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because expectations. Yeah, we'll talk about that because they definitely had a big impression, I think, on a lot of people going into the film and how they basically fumbled the marketing for it. But I actually want to start.
Marketing. Yeah, actually, I'm not Darren Moser. I am John Harrison.
Oh no! Wow. I thought Darren Moser was going to be. No? Okay.
No.
You look on the nerdparty.com and it says right there under my name.
Okay.
But we will talk about that, but that's not what we're going to start with. We're going to start with initial impressions. What did we... I'm pretty sure we've kind of alluded to this, and I think we're all in the same boat where we've kind of only seen it maybe once or twice at most.
I've seen dozens of times.
Yeah, that's what's odd different is we've seen Beyond a whole bunch, and Philip has not, and it's the reverse for him.
Oh, okay, okay. So, well, let's start with you, Philip, because I know the reason you've seen this dozens of times is because you love it. It has what I call the Philip Holy Trinity. There's Bad Admirals, which I know you're a giant fan of.
True.
Right.
The Enterprise gets destroyed, which I know you love.
I mean, that happens a lot more often than you would think.
And there's a Doctor Who actor in here, but he has no lines.
That's true. No, he has a line, I think. It disrupts the music. Something like "How can you help?" or something like that, or
Oh, he says what?
What? Yeah,
what did you say?
And there's
like
a Sherlock actor in this. If you, if that's your thing.
Or Doctor Strange, if you really want to cross streams. But yeah, so let's start with you, Philip. Coming into this episode, what were your feelings about Into Darkness? How did you react to it? Did you not love it? Is there a reason to have this in this series?
Well, I don't hate it as much as going into this. I won't talk about this impression now, but going into it, Into Darkness does have a reputation, at least among the JJ films, as being the worst. And there was that whole pseudo event. Well, it's not pseudo because it really happened, but there was that infamous event, but from a minority of people, where list the worst Star Trek films, and it was like Galaxy Quest was number 1, and Into Darkness was the last one, and whatever. So it's and what I think with Into Darkness, my past going into this, I think it was always be like, well, I remember sitting comfortably for most of the movie. And then I remember lots of standing up and then yelling at the screen for the final fourth of it. So that's usually my...
So it was the final fourth is
true.
Different. We'll get to that. But
yeah, and it was sort of, as to compare to all the things we've talked about in the past, it's sort of like, these are the voyages, bad.
Yep.
So not... Well, and I'm just talking about initial, we're not going to talk about this time. So not necessarily bad story, but just like, why? What? No. What are you? No. What? Why? And that was my Into Darkness.
I mean, we will get into it, but I just have to say, I was going to make the same comparison, that I feel it's like a lot like These Are the Voyages, where it's more frustration than terrible.
Right.
It's more like
what it could have been.
This is what is happening right now. But that doesn't even happen until, like you said, like the third or fourth act. But anyways, Darren, what about you? Were you kind of in the same boat, or what?
Yeah, so when I first saw it, I think, unfortunately, it was super overshadowed by, just by the Wrath of Khan. And the problem was, I mean, if you look at 2009, not only is it a great reboot, but it's a original story. I mean, we don't actually ever see how Kirk gets the Enterprise or anything like that. And I thought it was a brilliant stroke of having it be the parallel universe, because Trekkies, of all people, could get that. Like, of any fan base, we understand that principle. And so it was like, okay, we're going to take your canon and we're just going to put it to the side and tell a new story. And I was like, great, I'm on board. You got Leonard Nimoy, here we go. And so you have this sequel, and IMDb tried to fool you, but we were all smarter than that, and it basically was, we're like, oh, well, are you making the Wrath of Khan? And they're like, no, we're not. And we're like, but you are. But we'll get to it. Did they actually make the Wrath of Khan again?
And I'm trying to remember back, because I mean, this was what year did this come out? I feel like
it was 2009. So I'm gonna guess
after 2009, 12,
13.
I want to say 13. It was a while.
Okay,
yeah, 4 years.
It was. I'm trying to remember how this went, because it seemed to me, when they were saying Star Trek 2, and I don't know if they called it Star Trek 2, but people, it was sort of like a joke. Like, oh, well it's going to be
I remember
Wrath
it was
of Khan.
The colon joke. It was like, is there going to be a colon? I remember that was a big thing. And because there's like, do you read it Star Trek Into Darkness? Or is it Star Trek Into Darkness?
And no, that was, okay, so...
Remember, this was a thing.
We're knee-deep into it. We might as well talk about how
STD,
tremendously terrible this movie was developed and presented and marketed to
I think
people.
that was a lot of it.
So, there was a big deal about the colon. Is it going to be numbered?
Yeah.
It can't be numbered. We already have a Star Trek 2. Yeah. It can't...
people were still reacting to the fact that they had to call the first one 09 because it didn't have a qualifier. Yeah, what
Star
else do you
Trek,
call it?
So they made a big deal about this being a complete sentence. They're like, this is
That's
Star
right.
Trek Into Darkness.
Yeah.
This is the whole thing. And it's like, okay, I guess... Okay, but that's stupid. We don't need it to be a sentence. Like,
and we were also like, Into Darkness, I don't want my dark Star Trek.
I know. That was also a turn off.
So of all the words they chose, it's probably the worst one to choose. Maybe Star Trek Strikes Back would have been a little too on the nose.
The Vengeance.
Star Trek The Vengeance. No, yeah, you don't... I mean... Yeah...
But I thought,
whatever.
like,
I can't think of a better title. I'm not saying I can think of a better one, but it wasn't the best title.
But
and it's not even really that appropriate.
No.
I mean,
they're forcing it.
Yeah,
guys, we're cool and edgy.
It's not like our characters are the ones that are doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, or being more dark. It's just there's a Badmiral that wants to start a war. This is like 1,000 Star Trek episodes we've seen before. This is not any darker or edgier. This is just... So I don't even know what the... It's stupid. It's just stupid. Anyways, okay.
But I just thought the self-perpetuating thing, like, it was like a joke of like, oh, Star Trek 2, it's going to have Khan. And like, it was like, ha, ha, ha. And then it was
then
like...
it actually happened. And we're like...
Well, and then they were like, no. And they're like, yeah, no, we were joking. I mean,
I love
wait,
the
does it have
fact
Khan
that
in
they
it?
literally
No.
had John Harrison listed as his name on IMDb, and then after the movie aired, well, it's because JJ and his mystery box, like he just can't let it go. But like, and then the day of the movie premiere, they changed it, and we're like, yeah, you're not fooling anybody. Like we totally knew that was going to happen.
They lied. I mean, they lied
because JJ specifically said he is not Khan, and he lied to us.
No,
you don't lie
and
to
people
the fans.
asked them. People asked all of them straight faced. Is it Khan? Is it Khan? Like we
And
all
honestly,
kind of knew.
if they had built it up that it was Khan, but that it's going to be a different take on it, and it's still going to be his greatest nemesis. Like if the ad had been the greatest nemesis that Kirk has ever seen, or something like that. But I know I'm rambling away, and I'll give the mic back in a second. But I want to just say the problem with Khan, and again, this was back then, was the fact that it's the big difference between this and Star Trek II is one is Khan is meeting them at the beginning of their adventure versus Khan is meeting them in the second movie at the end of their adventure. You know what I'm saying? Like we're still getting used to these characters. If you've only seen Star Trek 09 and this movie, these I mean, they haven't even gone on the 5-year mission yet. And so to place that big event when they're still kind of getting to know each other, I think that was a big difference. I'll just say that.
And I think if the movie was made now, and this came up, at the time, but now, this is about.
Well, now you couldn't afford Benedict Cumberbatch, but I'm just saying.
Well, I don't know about that. He still would accept that money, but you could not cast him as Khan. Like that would just.
Well, no, it did come up then because.
Oh yeah, I remember that coming up. Yeah.
But like I think even more so now.
Yeah.
Well, I do think so initially
and he was less established of an actor back then. I mean, I think Sherlock was already going on, and people knew him from Sherlock.
In America, at least.
In America, yeah.
But so initially they cast Benicio del Toro.
That's right.
And that's why people were like, okay, are you doing like a new Khan thing?
And I was excited for that.
Yeah, that would have been great. And then that fell through, and then they cast Benedict, and it was just like, who
is the whitest and most British actor?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean, can you even imagine Benicio? He'd just be like, Captain Kirk, why do you think I'm going to help you?
Benicio would be cool.
Well,
I mean, he would be.
If I'm remembering right, Benicio, he was in the second Star Wars, right?
He was.
Okay, yeah.
He was the
DJ.
Yeah,
I mean, I hate the character, so I don't want to remember his name.
He was in Guardians.
He was in Guardians.
Yeah.
He's the collector.
So yeah, oh man, Benicio would have blown it away.
Yeah.
Why Benicio?
No, and he's a great actor.
Why Benicio?
So yeah, I mean, they took a misstep with this, basically every step of the way. All right,
they recast him, and then they said he wasn't Khan, and they're just digging a hole.
Yeah,
yeah.
And
this isn't
and straight copying, and this could be the debate. Straight copying the heartful moments of Star Trek 2.
Yeah. No, we didn't copy Philip. Kirk dies, not Spock.
It's an homage.
Totally different.
It's so clever.
I mean, he literally says the exact same lines in the end,
and
but
I know,
totally different.
I like the part where they're like, "This is what you would have done," and this is what you would have done. I'm like, "Yeah, no, we get it, JJ. We get
it's about as subtle as a frying pan in the warp reactor. Let's just put it that way. But
this is entirely JJ's fault. I feel like
he's not a Star Trek fan.
No, he's not. He's not. And yes, like you were saying, Darren, it's trying to dig that into that same well without any of the setup.
Yeah.
Like none of it. Like you have 20 years of setup from Space Seed to Star Trek 2.
And like I said, we want new. How many times does Star Trek people say they want new Star Trek? And like I said, I feel 09 was new enough. It's an origin story, but it's a story we've never been told, and it was really interesting. And then now it's like you, from the bat, put your story in the shadow of what is considered one of the best Star Trek films. I mean, I guess maybe was this the only story they could have? I mean, it's a very different story. It's definitely not Star Trek 2, but when you throw in array of names like Khan,
I mean, you're rebooting a reboot,
Yeah. I like the story. I shouldn't say like the story. I'm on board with the movie until the scene on the bridge. on the Vengeance Bridge with Kirk and Khan. Until Khan becomes
the bad guy.
I like the fact that they're like working together, kind of, but like not trusting each other. Like that's a cool new angle to go with. That's fine
because that's what made Space Seed good. I mean, that's most of Space Seed is them working together. But Kirk's kind of like, "Are you going to take over my ship?" I don't know.
Well, and that's the thing. This could be more, you could push this more in the vein of a Space Seed story, and not a Star Trek II story, like you said. Don't try to tell the end of the story before you even started it.
Yeah.
So,
and watching it this time, if we're going, but as far as story, just because we're on story, that's what I'm talking about. For story, there was one thing that kept ringing in my ears as a story theme that I thought, as much as they were using it, either intentionally or not intentionally, it worked. And that was because I remember the Into Darkness trailers very well. Because actually, the trailers are actually really good. Movie, we can talk about that. But that quote from Khan, what would you do to save your family? Or I forget the exact quote. But I think almost every character has that what would you do story. So it's like Mickey, Ricky, at the beginning, what would you do for your sick daughter?
Yeah.
Spock, what would you do, about giving your life? Kirk, what would you do, to save your crew? And I think you really see that. Yeah. I mean, I was really going through my head through this viewing, and I really see that coming through all the characters. What are you willing to risk to protect your crew, your family, the ones you love? And there were different varying answers and some problematic plot lines. Like, I don't know if I'd kill a city block for my child, but that's...
This was the same year that Man of Steel came out, so maybe that's,
well, and for me, watching it again, actually, the overall story, again, the fourth act's got issues, and we'll get to that. But I think actually, I was really, because I hadn't watched it very recently, so I was trying to, I wasn't trying to remember it. It was just kind of watching it fresh, and the mystery at the beginning. And you don't really know what's going on, and Starfleet's trying to figure it out. And I really like the whole arrogant Kirk angle. Like the scenes with him and Pike are great, and I really liked that story, and it really kind of coming to a head where Kirk's like, I'm above the rules, I can do whatever, and it kind of blows up in his face. I mean, so overall, I actually really, because I think it had been enough time to not have it under the shadow of what I thought it should be, I actually enjoyed the plot a lot more in this rewatch. Again, like you said, Daniel, I think once you kind of get to that fourth act, it does... That's probably the weakest portion of it, but up to then, it's actually pretty solid.
Yeah, skipping ahead to what I thought this time. It's an action movie. I mean, that's not an original thought, right? But, I mean, if I try to think of it more than that, it has a lot of problems. If I just think it's just a random action movie, it does what an action movie does. There are all these action moments, people making action.
We haven't spent enough time with these characters to have the payoff moments that we get in like a Star Trek 6.
Yeah, it's just why is Spock angry and jumping across gliders, or why is...
You're talking about the fourth act, Philip. We said stay away from the fourth act.
Well, even like who designed this stupid ship? Apparently no emergency situation was this ship built for. Like, they never thought gravity might not work, so everyone's going to die as they plummet.
Well, the fact that gravity apparently always pulled towards the Earth, which... No, you're in free fall, falling to the Earth. You would be 0G. That entire sequence, they should have been in 0G.
Well, I mean, gravity had a lot of, like, inside the ship, outside the ship. I'm like, also, was like when they did their little space shoot, I'm like, how are they speeding through? What inertia is making them go that fast? What gravity is acting? Because that debris is floating past them, and they're going like that.
I get that because they depressurized out of the bay. Like, you could be actually traveling pretty fast, and as long as you're not inerting opposite force, there's nothing to slow you down.
My big problem, especially with that last scene with the crashing ships and stuff, is like they're like right next to the moon, when they come out of
The
warp.
moon's
and that
pretty
seems
far away, guys. It's really not. It's not
damn
that close.
far away. And then they just fall to Earth, and it's like, even
If you got blasted
just
into
had
the moon,
no,
you would not fall to Earth. That's not how space works.
But because I was wondering, like, they have this debris field that comes from, and then just doesn't appear anymore. But that debris is having no gravitational forces acting on it in any way, shape, or form, or at least nothing pulling it towards any planetary body.
Now,
but
granted,
ships,
if you were heading towards
starships,
Earth and then you shut down, you would keep going, and you would fall.
Like this,
no, it's just,
there's a lot of maybe sometimes a little too. I guess one of my biggest gripes with JJ
science
is
into darkness.
He doesn't care about the science.
No.
And
that's the point of Star Trek. It's not fantasy. Yeah. It's science fiction. The Enterprise should operate like an actual spaceship and not be crushed under the weight of water when you stick it under the water. We didn't even talk about the beginning of the movie.
Oh, we shouldn't talk about it because I don't even want to have a... I don't even want to have that conversation.
The ship was literally built... Okay, sorry. Maybe the ship was built in Iowa, so it can handle 1 AU, 1 atmosphere, but...
The ship can handle way more than 1 AU. It literally escaped the gravity well of a black hole, man. If you don't think it could stand, like, under 20 feet of water, then you're not paying attention to what these...
There's a lot of pressure underwater. There's a lot.
Listen,
I'm more surprised that their lungs survived when they jumped in and then scubaed all the way to, like, the farthest hatch...
It was a lake. It's not that deep. Oh my god. Okay.
Well, I guess I actually thought the beginning was interesting because you literally get into the action because we did the origin story. So what are they doing? And then I did like that beginning.
Cool.
The water thing doesn't bother me. I mean, logistically, again, as a story, as a writer, again, if it's an action movie, nothing matters. But if you're looking at it from a writer's standpoint, well, how'd they get it into the lake without anyone noticing?
Maybe at night. I don't know. Run silent,
it's also
run deep.
Weird. It's like it is kind
Why
of. Why
couldn't they be orbiting?
Yes, it's a stupid decision, like writing wise, because there's no where could we be that we would be out of view from the natives? Like you could be in space.
Why does the Enterprise is very much an atmospheric ship now? Like it's a spaceship. It's not actually meant to go into the atmosphere.
And, hey, Voyager did it. If Voyager can do it, I think
Voyager.
I think it's the size of one of their shuttles. Yeah. Because it's also like little stuff of like, and again, I'm not a fan of Chris Pine Kirk. I'm not saying Chris Pine is an actor, though. Not that he's so jerky. And I know what you said earlier about you like.
You're talking about story. Like this or like how he acts.
Well, someone would give that director a steady cam. And again, Darren and Daniel, no offense, this was so Star Warsy to me in as much as it's like Kirk is this ragtag, cool guy who's in charge of captain of a starship, and that's not how Starfleet works. It's you're a captain. You're
so
not.
He doesn't get how space works.
You're not Han Solo.
Starfleet works.
I will say this. I will say this about JJ Kirk. We see the same the same arc for that character in every three.
Yeah,
in every
he doesn't
movie.
actually progress.
It's the same thing. Kirk his head gets way too big and he has to be humbled. In fact, I was noticing this happens literally in 09, Into Darkness, and beyond. It's the same arc for Kirk the whole time, and it's really frustrating because it's like let the character evolve. If he's been especially in Beyond, if he's been on the ship, he died for these people now. He gets it. He gets it. You understand? Anyways,
I mean, Crabhead Lady was new, but I know what you mean.
He has ennui in Beyond,
but it's just it's just frustrating to see that. It really bothered me because I just, and this time watching through, I really noticed that the beginning half of Into Darkness kind of is a beat for beat in a lot of ways. Very matches up well with 09. Like Kirk, does this great. He comes in and he blunders and blusters his way through the situation.
Has his
then
scene with Pike at the bar, and then
and then
in bed with a girl.
Yeah, it's like
true. It actually is really similar.
I was watching it. And I'm like, oh my god, this is up until basically they get to Kronos, which is another thing we have to talk about.
How close is Kronos, guys? I really don't know because it seems really close.
I know.
Well, okay, not
magically
beaming, but literally, they leave it. They're in warp for half a second. The Vengeance catches up, and they're in Moon's orbit. What? Like, granted, that was an awesome scene when the Vengeance catches up on them in warp, and that noise it makes.
Knocks him out of warp.
It is cool, but
it's an interesting noise because it sounds like a dogfight from World War II.
And apparently, warp is like a tunnel, which I didn't quite realize.
Which is
you
fine.
don't want to vary off the.
I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, but we've never. I mean, other than I think the only time I can remember is an Enterprise. But have we ever seen two ships in the same warp bubble before?
No, I don't think so. Anyway.
Yeah. So, what? I guess this could be our first and only idea of what that interaction would look like. But I get the distinct impression like you would get pushed out of warp well before somebody could enter your warp bubble.
And shooting in warp, that's a whole other...
Phasers instead of not torpedo. Anyway.
Makes sense. So it is cool visually, but I agree with like what Philip was saying earlier. That feels more like just an action piece. Yeah. Not well thought out, not interesting.
Well, they spent the time to build it in that Borg cube near Jupiter. You know.
I did notice it looked like
a Borg cube. Looked like a Borg cube, yeah.
Okay,
right.
Let's move on to that then, and talk about that part of the story, because it's actually really most of the story. And I guess it's where the
whole Admiral Marcus.
I was like,
stuff.
Which part? Okay.
I mean, I was excited for Admiral Marcus because I'm a huge RoboCop fan, and so you have Peter Weller, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great, and he was actually a decent bad guy.
Well, except that he played the same character he did in Enterprise, except he's
yeah, it's true. But yeah, that's a good point. Terrifying first, and
But and again, I thought he was.
Hey, look, they gave us the Eagle Boss lineup, so we're all happy.
They gave us there was a ship that I didn't recognize too.
No, they were
it was all NASA. Then it was the Ring ship, which I want,
and you had the Phoenix.
Then it was the Phoenix, and then it was NX, and then
no. There was one between the Phoenix and NX.
There was the Kelvin. It was the Kelvin.
No. Between those
that was
two,
after that. Yeah, because
there was one that we did. That I know. I'll have to look this up now.
Yeah.
But anyways,
yeah.
So let's talk about him and his plot.
But I just thought he was
and his
really...
daughter who can't keep her clothes on. Am I right, guys? Jeez, that scene.
I literally wrote "Oh, Carol." ... That's all I had. But yeah, I think he was, again, from an action standpoint, does his part. From a writing standpoint, very thin. I mean, he's just the diabolical mustache pulling villain.
We have to have war because war is coming.
Well,
okay.
And I can get that that's his perspective. In other words, again, you have to add this layer, but I think it's there where, he wants to defend the Federation, so he may be a preemptive thing to save it. Whatever, I can get my mind there.
I have to kill the Federation in order to save it. Okay.
Well, it's pulling the Federation, the sleepy-eyed Federation, into the inevitable conflict, and let's do it now rather than waiting for them to come get us. I mean, we can get to the modern examples, but anyway. But what I don't get, he's so thin about I don't sense any good, or what I just sort of said really quickly. But I don't get the spirit of the larger goodness. It's all evil. It's all oh shit. Well, I guess I got to kill you all now. I'm like. Where's the principles of this whole matter? I mean, like you said, Darren, is it just war? Because that doesn't make sense as a character. How did he get to be Admiral of Starfleet? Because it's like Admiral Cartwright, from the original movies. We saw the good in 4, and in 6 he kind of was this bad guy, but it was this whole, I'm trying to save, and that's why I'm this conspiracy. But there was at least some level of, okay, I get where he's going, though he's very misguided. But with Marcus, he's just a bad guy with no redeemable features. And so it's he saves his daughter... But then, smacks her, why'd you save your daughter if you don't give a blank about her, it didn't make sense.
Yeah, he's the admiral of Starfleet. He's head at, I guess he's in charge and can literally construct
he's got a ton
bases
of those Stargate replicators on his shoulder, so he can do whatever he wants.
So I looked this up, and I'm very impressed, actually. The other ship, so it goes...
Yeah, I'm looking at the scene right now. I found it.
Yeah, it goes the Ring ship.
Well,
then
wait,
the
no, we start with the
oh god, Apollo.
We're gonna start at the beginning. No, we start with the Wright Brothers flyer.
Yeah.
Then you have the Spirit of St. Louis. Then you have a V2 rocket. Then you have the X515, the break the sound barrier flight. Then you have a Vostok Russian module. Then you have Gemini 2 or a Gemini. Then you have a space shuttle. heavy lift Ares rocket ring ship. Then, okay, so I see what you're saying. I think it's Phoenix, and then I think it's the Warp 2 ship. I think it's
it's the
the Archer and what's his name were competing for.
Yes. It's the NX Alpha. It's from that first flight episode.
Yeah, and then you have a little tiny, because it's totally not to scale, NX-01, and then the Kelvin, and then ominously the Giant Vengeance.
And then the super secret, top secret ship.
Look, they had to convince the Admiral it was worth it, so they had to build the model, and you're not going to just throw a model like that away. So
it's branding.
I will say real quickly, and just to give a little bit of credit to the JJ verse, I really appreciate how much attention and love they've given the Enterprise continuity. So I
True.
That one little reference to one episode, that's cool, man. And then of course, obviously, we get the Franklin and that whole sort of stuff and beyond. But I hope Discovery will grab hold of those roots as well and get some references in there as well.
But back to the main point.
So I want to talk about Marcus's plan because it's stupid and makes no sense, and I don't understand what happened.
And I was washing dishes during the first part because I'm a multitasker. But anyway, and then when I watched the rest of the movie, I'm like, did I miss something? Why did they need all 72 torpedoes? Like, didn't they just need one to fire?
And why was he like
Kronos?
And why these torpedoes? Like, why not you just? Oh wait, so supposedly he doesn't know that the cryotubes are in, right?
I think he does. It's sketchy because Khan said he was caught. But it's fuzzy whether when he was caught they realized what he was doing or they did not realize what he was doing.
Okay, between the three of us, we can figure this out because the movie doesn't make any of this clear.
Yes.
So was Marcus's original plan for Khan to bomb Section 31?
No.
Or was that Khan?
That was Khan. That was Khan on his own.
So Marcus's plan is to have Kirk take the torpedoes and sit on the border and shoot them. And they're just torpedoes to him. That's my assumption.
And then disable Kirk, or disable the Enterprise.
Right. But even before that, his justification to get Kirk to do that was Khan was on Kronos.
Right.
Which Khan went to Kronos by himself.
Yes,
That wasn't part of Marcus's plan.
No,
How did Marcus
that
know
was
Khan
new plan.
No, I think Marcus just took advantage of the situation to start the war. I think everything up to the torpedo plan was Khan's plan. So Khan's plan was destroy the annex so that everybody gets together in the room. Then
it's actually the secret Section 13 headquarters. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's what is it? The warehouse 85.
Warehouse 13. Yeah.
No, you got to add a couple numbers, but So then
47.
So then they get together, and then he shoots the people, and then he beams off to Kronos, and he's just kind of poking. Starfleet with a stick at that point. And then Marcus has his plan to use these torpedoes that Khan developed, I believe.
Right. Khan did develop them.
And he's like, okay, Kirk's going to go and park and shoot them, and then I've disabled Kirk's ship so that when the Klingons come looking, they'll see the Federation ship and start a war, which is what he wants. So now we shift back to Khan's plan, where Khan, for some reason, put the correct me if you know the reason, because I really want to know.
Yeah, this is where it falls apart.
I don't understand.
I cleverly put my people in the torpedoes. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why did Khan go to Kronos in the first place? That seems like the stupidest.
And Khan even said, like, they took them away. Like, he knew where the cryotubes were, and then they took them away? Or
in the torpedoes.
So you're right.
You know what they do with torpedoes, Khan? They shoot them at things.
So he hid them inside a munitions factory.
They'll never find my gold in these hand grenades. I mean,
But yeah, okay.
But why did he go to
Kronos?
Kronos?
Was to put them in the torpedoes, maybe because he could activate them and they could fly away, and then the torpedoes disappeared, and so because Marcus was onto him, something was going to happen. He didn't trust him, so then Kirk changes the plan again by not shooting the torpedoes and capturing, and then the Vengeance shows up. I think this is how it's all planning out, but dear Lord.
Yeah. And also, Khan's plan, the beginning one, the first, well, we know.
Okay,
the way the movie starts.
Get everyone together and shoot everybody. It's not a bad plan.
Yeah, but it's very, simple. It's like, you know how I'm going to kill you? I have a gun. Bang, 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 bang. I'm like, that's your maniacal, genetically engineered plan to just get them in a room,
He killed pretty much everybody in that room.
Well,
but it's, stupid.
not Kirk or Spock.
Why have a drone do it? Why does he have to
Marcus.
be there?
He didn't even kill the one guy he was trying to kill.
But like a poor man, you keep missing your mark.
That's a good question, is what was Khan's next step? He shot everybody and he's fleed. Now, did he only flee because his ship got destroyed?
Well, and also...
No way, because he had that device.
Okay, so he beamed away. So what was his next plan? To just wait?
I don't know, because he starts shooting all the Klingons.
Maybe it was to wait for the reaction. Maybe he had done his steps and he's like, now I'm good. Now in his superior intellect, he knows Marcus is going to do X because I did Y.
His war.
But hang on.
Yeah.
That makes no sense, because if Marcus has been manipulating him this whole time, and he's really mad and he wants to kill Marcus, the last thing he's going to want to do is play into Marcus's hands. He knows Marcus wants war with the Klingons. Why does he go to Kronos?
Well, maybe because in a war with the Klingons, it's perfect for him. If he ultimately wants to rule everybody and go back to the glory,
but he
of
wants
the
to
90s,
save his people. That's his priority.
I think that's his number one priority first. Yeah.
So
and also
is
the
he
fact
think that he's going to bring the torpedoes to kill him? I don't know.
But also, why does he? Now, I mean, I can explain.
He read
that
the script, guys. That's how he figured it out.
But his attack on Starfleet headquarters, isn't his target Marcus?
Just Marcus.
And I can get he just has no morality, so he has to break a couple eggs to make an omelet. That's fine. But like you said, Daniel, he doesn't get Marcus, and so again, it's a bad plan. How are you literally going to target Marcus? Again,
just
isn't
put
there a smarter way to do
table.
this? Yeah, or a little drone, something. Other than, that's why I said this is such a dumb plan of I have a machine gun. That's my plan. I'm like, what are you, a thug?
Hey, Khan, you know what would have worked in that giant...
A torpedo!
A torpedo, or that super bomb that you used earlier in the movie.
Give a ring to some sick someone with a sick kid who works in Admiral Marcus's
office. That's a very volatile ring, because the amount of explosive that came from 1 cup of water and 1 ring was a lot.
Yeah. I guess maybe they had a lot of
special water
down there. Yeah,
I think it's flavored.
Okay.
Well, all the books in the library were very volatile, I guess, so they,
All right, so I say we focus now on that terrible fourth act, and we talk about not even just how bad it is, but how insulting and frustrating it is, and stupid too. On top of it,
to me, upon viewing it, and even viewing it this time, I still believe there's an idea there of.
I mean,
the
Spock's
reverse
plan wasn't bad.
Oh, I like Spock's little bit with the torpedoes.
Yeah,
is good.
Oh no, that part. Yeah, I thought you meant just him getting.
No. I'm not up there. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Because
before that,
so that was good, and then at this point we've defeated the Vengeance, and
seemingly.
Now we just have the problem with the warp core.
Right. Yeah, but
which doesn't look like any warp core we've ever seen.
Again, who designed the ship? The whole thing I've already talked about. But even that engine room or whatever we're calling that little
brewery,
room, Kirk, the inside that Kirk was having to kick the thing. Imagine there's no emergency. How do you walk? There's no steps. There's no how do you supposed to get to that thing?
What they did is they looked at the warp core from the Enterprise D, and they said, "What if we just took this middle part and made it as big as an apartment?"
It's a room.
That's basically what they did,
with lots of spheres, and you have to kind of rumble.
Well, honestly, it looks like the inside of the Death Star is what it really looks like.
Yeah, it kind of does.
That's probably what it is.
I could see that.
But
he was auditioning at the time, Philip. So forgive him.
Didn't he have it by then? I don't know. I thought it was just the first one. But anyway, I like the idea of the switch. I mean, again, shouldn't do it.
It's at
you shouldn't
least
do
not
it.
A blatant copy. So it's
but if you're gonna do it,
yeah.
I do like the switch.
Yeah.
Though again, he has to stay dead at least till the next movie.
This feels almost lazier than a total copy.
Well, if they did the exact thing, I mean, that would have been like.
I mean, it feels like they're trying to avoid.
They did do the exact thing, basically. I mean, it's almost on a technicality that it's different.
Yeah.
But
so we do have
yeah.
line for line recreations.
Yeah.
And
Don't,
scene
man,
for
you
scene
flood the whole
recreations.
compartment.
It's
save the ship.
It's bad. It's
Yeah.
It's very
It's bad.
insulting. It's what you said.
Yeah.
Why do that?
Yeah.
And the scream was not good.
No.
It was. It
It doesn't
really
work. The more I see it, the less it ever works.
Yeah.
Because, like, again, I can the music and the they've earned that scene with Kirk and Spock. This in this movie, and if you've seen the other one too, I can earn it. It's earned. I'm with them. And then it's like, oh, okay, and then it's like, I'm like, no, don't stop. You had me for a second.
And the fact that doesn't. I mean,
makes sense.
And the fact that that doesn't happen in Star Trek 2. That's not when he says Khan.
No.
He's super emotional and like, oh my God, my friend has died. He says
Who do I
Khan
blame?
when he's been trapped under the planet.
Yeah.
So here's a way to fix this, or at least partially fix it.
Mm-hmm.
If you cut out the Khan scream and everything after where
Everything.
where we see punchy, kicky Spock, which we don't really care to see that much.
No.
If instead Spock regains his composure, right? And somehow you rearrange the scenes where he then gets his comeuppance in an intellectual way, like with the torpedoes against Khan.
Right.
That would be
Not
so much more
punchy,
satisfying.
punchy.
You switch it. I do like that. Yeah.
So you cut out all the bits that are like carbon copied, and then you have Spock get his vengeance or whatever.
That's
in
what
a
the title
Spock
was
way.
about all along.
In like a Spock-like way.
Yeah.
And we don't have to see the end scene where, again, half of San Francisco is destroyed.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like all of that sort of stuff. But of course we have to see that because.
But again, that was the action thing again. Like, how many casualties are in this movie? Like,
Well, like you were saying, Daniel, it's right around the time of Man of Steel, and that was when people started to actually be like, this isn't impactful when you have a movie it's all the implied death, and it's just like you're watching skyscrapers crumble, and it's like there's got to be hundreds of thousands of people, but it's like I don't know. And then later, when they're flying around doing the chase scene, there's people just walking along the street like nothing's going on.
Yeah,
it's like
nothing.
Freaking 9/11 is happening to your city. You got to be running around and freaking out a little.
I also like how they're like, we can't beam them up, but we can beam you down. I'm like,
jeez.
and maybe a medical team, because like they just took out half the city.
Maybe we could beam down the Mako squad or something.
Can we beam a shuttlecraft onto his head? Let's do that.
What did you guys think of the phone call to Spock?
It makes me upset that it's the last we got to see.
Yeah.
Right?
Why did they? And for both of you, because this struck me this time. Having I've seen Unification obviously and whatever. Why'd they dye his hair black, or why'd they give him a black wig? Shouldn't it just be gray?
No, I didn't even pay that much attention.
I did.
Yeah,
I was like, why is he Mo? What?
Look, he's the leader of New Vulcan. He's got to look young and hip.
I guess.
I don't know.
Because we saw him old in 2009. Like,
Yeah.
we saw the gray hair. It's like,
Yeah.
why are we... In case you don't know, this is
The two lines
Spock.
that we get, too.
Yeah.
The two lines that we get are, I vowed to never give you any information, followed by, here's some information about...
But you said the magic MacGuffin word, so I'm going to say there was not one deadliest person that was not named Khan. Burn them all. It's like, oh, actually... What's his last name? Because maybe it's a different Khan. Because I wouldn't want you to totally kill someone.
That's why he didn't say Kondunian Sin. And it's like, that's the one? Is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, it was cool to see Nimoy, but it was plausible. I could totally see, Kelvin Spock being like, "Hey, we're having a big deal over here. Let me call you up." But I don't know.
Well, with the way that teleporters and transporters, and
No. In this movie, it's probably teleporters, because I specifically heard Kirk say to Bones, "You need to go to the med bay." I'm like, "Oh, you mean sick bay?" As we always have called it for how many years of Star Trek? But please proceed.
Well, and again, there's the fact that, like, it's the lack of caring of the science fiction. Okay, we have interstellar beaming, which we've opened that box, but we're never going to deal with that again. And we have triple superblood that revives. Basically, death is not a concern now, and we're never going to deal with that again. It's like you can't do that.
Also, that Tribble was the size of a toaster.
It was so big. Why was that Tribble so big? It must have been pregnant.
Also, this is just a little thing, but this is what happens when I'm watching in the dark. The communicator, Kirk's like right parked outside of Kronos. Hey, Scotty in San Francisco, what's up?
That's a good point. Zero lag.
Oh, that bothers me so much too.
And also, Scotty still had his communicator on when he's
and the fact
drunk
that
at a bar.
I'm also thinking when they're trying to chirp Spock and he's fighting, I'm like, this is where chess communicators should be a lot easier because I'm surprised he even had one.
When Scotty literally has it in his mouth while he's trying to do the things on the, it is really frustrating when there's no care given for this sort of stuff that we care about.
And then also, I've always, I know this part, we all know this part, but to me, I didn't realize how bad it was because it's I'm trying to remember the exact sequence. McCoy has one of the popsicle people, and I'm trying to forget what he's exactly doing, but that's when they're the Tribble comes alive. And he's literally almost touching the guy, and it's oh no, tell Spock, we need Khan alive. I'm you have a guy right there. Use his blood.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's literally right there.
It bothered me so
That's true.
much.
I didn't even think of the fact that technically it's not Khan's super blood; it's all of their super blood.
No, I thought if you they didn't do this though. This is my if I'm going to have to make headcanon work, maybe it's because the fact that he's active. And,
or the fact that you're not. Why would you want to wake someone else up though? One is dangerous enough.
And so that maybe they could throw that. Oh, why can't we use this one? Oh, well, it has to be, blah, 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 blah. So we have to use Khan. But no.
Also, how long has that Tribble been dead? Longer than Kirk was dead, and it still worked.
So let's talk about the original Tribble scene, because it breaks the flow of that scene so hard. Kirk decides that because he doesn't know what to do, basically Marcus is going to destroy the Enterprise, and Scotty has given him a little window of time. He decides that he's going to use Khan to get over there and stop Marcus. Mm-hmm. He goes down to the med bay, and it's a tense scene. Yeah. Kirk's like, "Are you going to help me?" And they just stare at each other.
You can't say
because Khan is I know you're here to ask for my help. He's got that vibe.
Yeah. And it's I protect your crew. It's you can't even protect your own crew.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the last line, and they just stare at each other, and it's all tense. And then all of a sudden, Kirk looks to the right, and he goes, "What are you doing to that Tribble phone?"
You're
and
right.
It's oh my
You're
God. Right. It's so clumsy, and it's such an obvious setup for what's coming up.
Let me stop you this first question. Why is Khan even in the med bay?
Because they told him, because he moved him because he knew he was going to tell the wrong information to Marcus.
Why the med bay?
Because it's the only other set we built, Philip.
That's what I'm saying. Why is he in? At first I thought, there's a reason. No, he's just...
Because we got to get to the Tribble seed, Philip. The Tribble seed is where...
I mean, why isn't, the conference room or the bridge or my quarters or the med bay? We're just going to draw blood alley? For no reason,
Yeah.
I don't...
Yeah. So, you know what? Here's the thing. One other thing I wanted to do before because there's a lot of misses in this film, but there's actually some good stuff. There's some good
It feels
stuff.
like a parabola. I really didn't like it when I first saw it. Then in this rewatch, I was like, okay, it's actually not that bad. And then now that I actually think about it and discuss it, I'm back down.
Well, this was my filter because again, this time, and I'm like, oh, this is an action movie. So
what drugs do you take, Philip, to enjoy this movie? I need to know.
So it's all my Star Trek expectations of what are the story. Again, I've already mentioned I like the story elements. The what will you do for your family, and that because I think that's in there. But just one action movie, I'm like, oh, it's action scene. Just don't even think. If you're thinking, you're doing this movie wrong. It's an action movie. I mean,
it's a terrible thing to say about a Star Trek movie, but yeah, you're right.
But it's true, and so that's kind of how I went with it, and so I was able to quote unquote enjoy it more.
So just turn off your brain and you're totally good. Okay, that's good to know.
I mean, basically. I mean, that's and I hate to say that, but yeah, you'll enjoy this more if you're just it's an action movie. Oh, and I was trying to say well, and again, because I don't necessarily watch a lot of action movies per se, like Marvel movies. There's more to them than an action movie, but there's a large part of what Marvel movies are. I like
Right.
Marvel movies.
They're going to have a big fight with the villain.
Yeah,
That's
it
going
shows you a
to happen.
CGI Act 4. But anyway, like they still have other stuff. So I'm like, okay, is this like a Marvel movie, where you can have good writing but also good action? And I was like, and it also has Benedict Cumberbatch.
No.
I was actually just going to say that Doctor Strange strays actually a little bit from that formula, a little bit.
No, it does have Benedict Cumberbatch in it.
It does. It does.
Okay.
But where he, his final battle with his in his solo film, actually is more of an intellectual battle.
Yeah.
He actually outwits his opponent. It's not just an action beat, but just a little bit of a callback. I get what you're saying.
The whole principle is that they're trying to build off of Khan is this great big bad that we've only been told, never shown. That's, again, the big difference between the comic book movies, where we've seen how bad these villains are. We've seen them actually do stuff.
So, and here's the thing. What you're saying, Philip, about this film is these are pretty common criticisms against the whole Kelvin verse entirely. I think the reason that I love 09, and the reason I give that one a big pass compared to this one is that it's establishing it's setting a new tone, it's introducing these characters. So I give it a little bit of a pass where I say it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, what the hell's red matter? Why can it do magical?
I forgot about the red matter.
Yeah, like, I kind of let that go. Why red matter's not as acceptable, where Khan's blood is ridiculous. But here we are now with a character-driven story, and we're actually diving into these people. And they don't bother to do anything other than the superficial and what's been literally done before, word for words, in some occasions. So it's
different.
Much more frustrating.
Kirk dies, not Spock. And Spock is the one who yells Khan.
Yeah, because as far as characters, again, I don't like jerky Kirk, which is what Chris Pine is. At least in this movie. Again, having only seen Beyond once, I'm not including that for this discussion. But I can buy into the Pike stuff, losing Pike. Again, he's still too jerky angry for me. I'm just going to punch Khan 50 times. I'm like, you're stupid. Again, that the death scene with Kirk, I will slightly defend that in that it works for me. It's earned. I like it. But to me, the only other character who has anything of value is Spock. And even that's kind of dicey about like death and arguing with Uhura. But even that's not a lot, honestly. And so beyond that, I got nothing for you. Any of the other characters. Chekhov wears his red shirt. That's about all I got.
I kind of like the Scotty standing up for his principles bit.
I mean, it made more
on.
sense than him, like they set it up where it's like, yeah, Scotty can't look away. Otherwise it portrays the character.
Yeah, and obviously they do that just as an excuse to have someone that can go check on the vengeance. Yeah. But that scene feels good and real to me. And of course we get the illusion with Sulu. I like that stuff too.
That was cool.
Sits in the chair.
We got seatbelts, guys. I've been waiting for... No, I hadn't.
Though I do have a note that Scotty totally kills a guy.
He does. Yeah, he does.
Oh,
man,
action movie, guys.
I was watching
it.
Did we see Cupcake in this?
Yes, we did.
He is.
Okay.
Yeah. He actually dies because he goes on to Kronos with them.
Oh,
and
I think that's right. I don't think any other red shirts make it back. Yeah, I remember that was the big joke, too, of Chekhov getting the red shirt put on. Which, he was really not that good of an engineer. I'm just going to say, this was kind of like Tom Paris has taken a med class, so we're going to
and again,
doctor.
This is Kirk the jerk. I mean, I get it. You're in your little moody teenager phase, and you fired Scotty, whatever. But you're like, there's not an assistant engineer. You're just like, I don't know, first guy I see who I know the name, Chekhov. You're the guy. Red shirt.
This is not exclusive to these movies. This is a Star Trek problem overall that we're very well aware of. That these stations are not. We've seen hundreds of people on this ship. There's got to be somebody in engineering that's a junior senior engineer that can take over.
There's a lot of people falling off that bridge when the gravity goes down.
All right, we're heading towards closing thoughts. I'm gonna leave this one open. This has been kind of free form as we've been going, anyways. Anything more positive? Anything negative? What didn't we get to hit that you guys wanted?
One thing I was sensitive about the first time I saw this movie, literally when I was in the theater, was the end. And I know that's vaguely. Let me be specific. the vengeance. You mentioned this earlier, Darren, with the 9/11. This is not subtle to me. To me, and everyone can be different about 9/11. And I'm like,
that's true.
I don't know, guys. Too soon. Like, not even too soon, because obviously at this point. But
at that point, it'd been only a couple of years.
Yeah, but still, it's too real, I guess, is my word. He's going to be like, I wasn't in New York or anything, right? But I'm like, yeah, guys, don't do this. I mean, that's because, and I remember I was watching it on my computer, so I remember in the theater at the end in the credits, it was like, and we give thanks to all the people who served in 9/11, and I'm like, yeah, you're doing this to cover your butt, probably, because I mean, like, just that one shot of the vengeance coming down, and you should hear, and I'm like, yeah, that's what the plane sounded and looked like before it hit the tower. So I'm like, not cool, guys.
Also, the fact that it was like all of a sudden back. It's like we defeated it. No one was even thinking about it, and like they could have had him defeated, and then he just beams himself down to the plane. Like, there's no reason to crash the vengeance. There's really not.
Yeah.
They don't stop it.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, that was just my not cool guys at that moment. And,
so,
maybe people can be different.
I'm pretty sure, and somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. One of the writers.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this.
Well, you brought it up, so we might as
Okay.
well at least mention it. One of the writers is a conspiracy nut.
A 9/11 truther, as the kids.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
I think it's Kurtzman, and that's probably why you see a lot of those parallels.
Yeah, I mean, and which makes a good story for the film, not good if you apply it to, because it's the film, like, we're going to try and start a war and make it look like we're starting a war, even though it's us that's starting the war. And
even the beginning explosion in London, it's not actually what we thought it was. It was actually because of this government secret thing.
It was always a government conspiracy. Right?
Yeah.
So, well, then Philip brought us there. What about you, Darren? Anything?
Nope,
that you
I don't want
want
to talk about this movie anymore. Put it back on the shelf.
One cool, and this is very subtle. I'm just reaching here. One cool thing. I did like the formal...
it has cool sequences. I'm not saying it doesn't, but...
but like the formal Starfleet uniform is the motion picture almost uniform, and you're but it's cool though. Like, you're like, oh no, I like that though.
I did like this. Also had the jackets with the little like transparent wedge, so you could see the color through. I'm like, that's actually kind of cool.
Yep. The costuming is fantastic.
Costumes have always been the best part. Just let the costumers write the movie.
I think that they definitely care. You can tell those people have passion for Star Trek,
and they usually win Oscars. So,
yeah. I was going to say too, and we briefly touched on it, but the best sequence for me in the whole film is as streamlined and clunky as it is the opening scene. I think that's a great
volcano scene, yeah.
Classic Star Trek Prime Directive.
You got the shuttle, like, it feels like that scene could have been, I mean, on a
Everything's
way
going
lower
on.
budget, scene was right out of TOS.
Yeah, and you hop into that scene right away. It's not like your hand held through it. It's like, oh, we're here trying to save these people. And of course that very quickly falls to the wayside. It becomes less about, is it important to save those people or not? And that could have been a whole great, I mean, we've seen lots of Star Trek episodes about, do you save the indigenous population or not?
Right.
And, like, probably a question that doesn't really have an answer in the Star Trek universe anyways. But it's a great sequence, especially for like a movie. We've never had that sort of sequence in a movie.
Which was smart. It's like, let's open up as if it's an episode. And that's not a bad idea. I mean, they kind of do that in Beyond too, where you have him on his diplomatic mission
with the
roly-polies,
and his
MacGuffin,
his captain's
device.
log,
and his captain's log, and his closet.
Yep, that's good.
Beyond's so much a better movie. I need to watch that again.
So, guys, let's answer the question: is Star Trek Into Darkness? Is it that bad?
If you could turn off your brain, it's okay, but it's I don't know. You guys go first, Philip. I don't know.
We've plunged Darren into darkness. Yeah.
Honestly, I had a different opinion at the beginning of this discussion.
Yeah, Into Darkness is, again, look, as a Star Trek, okay, I'll enter, and this is my way, again, people can have different thoughts. As a Star Trek movie, yes, it's that bad. As a generic action movie, it's fine.
Yeah, I think the same. I think because when I watched it again, I was kind of just, because like I said, I wasn't thinking of it. I was trying not to think of it as a Star Trek, not in a bad way, but just like I don't want to put that Khan thing over my head and like all the things I had when I first saw it in theaters. And so, yeah, I think like Philip said, that let me watch it kind of just as an action movie. And okay, it's got some good beats. Again, the fourth act is just, but it was okay. I'm like, okay, this action movie's not that bad. And then, but now that I've spent an hour talking about it, I hate this movie again. So if you don't think about it, you could enjoy it, but it's probably going to be another decade till I watch it again. So,
and I'll caveat, in all of our Star Trek movies, like all the Star Trek movies together, a lot of them are action movie-esque. I'm not trying to single this one out.
Man, those
we're talking just about this one.
Explosions galore.
You know, yeah.
No, that's true. What do you think, Daniel?
Yeah, you brought this stupid thing up.
Yes. Are we done with this series yet, or is there more pain you have us going through?
That's now you're asking the important questions. I guess we'll have to wait 3 weeks to find out. No, I will say this. I talked about this a little bit earlier. I get the same sensation that I do from watching These Are the Voyages, where it just feels like, why even call this Star Trek? Like, why are you...
The wasted potential, you mean?
Yeah.
Just Into Darkness? You feel like that would have sold well?
Darkness.
Why try to do this same thing as one of the most beloved... Like, I love reboots. I think reboots are great. I think you can inject a lot of awesome creative energy into an older franchise. I think 09 did that fantastic. Then the same team did the exact opposite of a good reboot, and with this film, where it's like... You take the good bits that people like and you ruin them. And it's like, no, you like try to remake exactly what was coming before. And it's just frustrating to watch. And no, this rewatch, there was little bits that I could appreciate, but between Carol Marcus not really getting to do anything, between ginormous tribbles, that monstrous tribbles.
Well, and the whole like changing scene with Carol was so, I mean, it's trailer bait, and it was just so out of place. And you're like, what is going on here?
The woman has 3 scenes, and that's one of them. So it's like, okay, whatever. Anyways, yeah. Is it that bad? It might be. Hey, did you guys notice that the Vengeance crushed Alcatraz on the way into...
I did. I thought that's what that was. Yeah.
As it skimmed.
Darren would know better than me. It's on his side of the...
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I don't really know why that mattered.
No.
I could barely tell it was San Francisco. Like, there's one shot where in the middle between 2 skyscrapers you see the bridge, and I'm like, oh, I thought we were still in Paris because that's where all this stuff was going down. But apparently we're halfway around the world, so...
You know what would have made that scene at least a tiny bit more interesting? Maybe not better, but more interesting, is if they crashed on the moon in Lake Armstrong instead of...
Oh, that would have been awesome.
There's a scar on the moon. Yeah, I could like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
How many planets will this franchise ruin? Romulus, Vulcan, the moon.
The moon. Anyways, so that's our thoughts on Star Trek Into Darkness. And who knows, we may be talking about some other stuff coming up in the future, but not next week, because next week we're going to be talking about what, Philip?
Oh gosh, anything honestly is going to be better than this discussion. So it'll be something uplifting that reminds us why we love Star Trek.
By then we'll have been able to talk about Calypso, because that
Star Trek Short Treks is coming up, or if you're listening to this, probably you've already watched it, or maybe you're looking forward to it when you get home from work after listening to this. So, and also let's just do a quick shout out. 2-year anniversary to City Alpha 3.
2 years, gosh.
Yay!
It's been...
In 2 years, we get to go into darkness.
Is Khan going to be in it, Daniel?
Have we had the reboot yet? Was that technically leaving Earl Grey? Is that what that was? I don't even know.
Are we the Vengeance then? I don't know.
No, but no, it's been a good 2 years, and we've survived several life changes for me with kids and all that stuff, so... Nothing stopping the podcast train a rolling.
It's a good thing we have these couple of replicators. Otherwise, I don't know how we would made it 2 years.
That's true. I didn't think about the fact that we're stranded on this planet for some reason for 2 years. Maybe one day we'll take a trip somewhere else.
Maybe. We'll see. All right, Darren, if people want to get a hold of you, how would they find you on the internet?
Well, I'm back in my tiki hut trying to invent transwarp beaming to get us off this dang planet, but they can find me on Twitter, Twitch, or Instagram under username Dr. Sci-Fi, DRSCIFI.
And, Philip, if people want to get a hold of you and say, Philip, should we see more of Section 31 in the movies? How would they get a hold of you?
Oh, boy. All right, they can find me on Twitter at NC Public Servant. That's NC for not classified.
Great. And if they want to get a hold of me, they can find me on Twitter as well, at OneUpDan. That's the number 1, not the word.
As in, the first of the reboots is the best.
That's right. That's right. I'm Daniel Prue.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
Stranded here on SETI Alpha 3.
Cut!